Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us this week is Burke Dales, formerly of the Calgary Stampeders, now with the Edmonton Eskimos. Always great to work with you, Burke. I want to, first of all, let's get an update on your injury. Last year, you fractured your foot, snapped the tendon. And how's that coming back? Because you missed most of the last part of the season.
Yeah, it's coming. It's called a Liz Frank injury. It's what Santonio Holmes did this year for the Jets. There was a number of other, I think Maurice Jones-Drew had a Liz Frank. It's a frustrating injury. I had a couple of fractures in my foot, tore some ligaments. I actually tried to suit up for the last game, the playoff game in Toronto. Took the first team reps for the first few days, and you know, going against Chad Owens, I don't think that they were fully trusting my cover skills at that point. And we did some running tests, and I was only about 65%. So you definitely want to have a legitimate safety back there going against a dangerous returner like Chad. So right now it's good, it's coming. I'm working with a specialist right now, and I think I'm about a month away to 100%.
Let me ask you this one question. With your contract stacked up with bonuses, how much did that hurt you financially?
That stung this year, to be quite honest, and I actually I thought it would be my best interest this year to move to a more incentivized base contract, you know, I've never been hurt before. I've had some broken fingers and knuckles and stuff like that, you know, throughout my career, but this year it stung a little bit because I did move to that more incentivized contract. And you know, and I felt very confident that you know, I was pretty durable and that I'm invincible, and it is a game, and there is injuries, and that's part of it all. So like I said, I've got 2 years left under contract with the Eskimos, and looking forward to getting back up there and having a good year.
My injuries are okay though.
You're?
Yeah, they're nagging, but
well, he's
but you're 70.
The smart sweater is bringing out that glow.
He hurt himself pulling that sweater over his head today, sprained his hair. Jesus. Hey, talk about Marc Trestman. A lot of, and Grant, you're just bringing up about what a classy guy he is, and I think the league is going to be hurt losing a personality and a man's skill like that.
Well, first of all, when Marc Trestman goes to Chicago Bears, I think a lot of Canadian Football League fans say, "Oh, you know, a big surprise going to the NFL." But this guy's been around the NFL a long time. Yeah. Offensive coordinator for 4 teams, and I worked with Jay Cutler before, the Bears quarterback. But the one thing I like about Marc Trestman compared to a Bill Belichick, it's just I've always learned something in my interviews with Marc Trestman. I find him a classy guy, and I hope that continues in the NFL. I had heard in his interview, in his first interview or the last interview prior to getting the job, that he had outlined every day for 13 months how the Bears can get ready for the Super Bowl for next year. Can you imagine? Do you know what you're doing tomorrow?
Not really.
I mean, imagine if that's true. Is he really that organized?
Yeah, yeah.
Scary.
What are your thoughts on him?
I think it's a great fit, to be quite frank with you. I think that he's brought a lot of offensive prowess to Montreal. I don't know about a personality, as you say. I don't think he's got much personality, but he's a very mild-mannered man, an excellent coach, very organized, very in tune to the playbook, to the plan, game plans. And I think that that's exactly what Chicago needs at this point in time, is an offensive-minded coach. My only problem with it is that you now have Jay Cutler as your quarterback, and I love Jay Cutler. I'm not a hater at all. When he's in the zone, there's not many better. But there is a sense of arrogance there, and I think that, you know, Trestman and Cutler need to get off on the right foot. I think that's going to really depend.
He's a coach
on the
killer,
success.
Burke. He's a coach killer.
He is, but Trestman, and I'll tell you, Dwight Anderson's a good friend of mine, and he'll tell you that Trestman does not put up with crap. So, you know what? I think that that's going to determine the success they have on offense, and as a team, as a collective, is the relationship right out of the gate with the coach and the quarterback.
And they have had that before, haven't they?
Where?
Trestman and Cutler. Don't they go back somewhere in the past?
That's why I don't know that for sure.
I thought they had some kind of history together.
Yeah, and they might just, but again, like you know, that was then, this is now kind of thing. And Cutler, to me, you know, every year there just seems to be more issues surrounding that guy. So to me, that's going to be the success. It's all going to be dependent upon Trestman and Cutler's relationship out of the gate.
Now, with him going, there's all kinds of rumors that Scott Milanovich might be going down there to join him. You know, who knows if that's going to happen. But there's lots of rumors on who's going to take over that head coaching job in Montreal. Two names that pop up, and I can see them both working to an extent. Jacques Chapdelaine, who played in Montreal and speaks French, and would be a nice fit that way, and he's an offensive mind. I still think he's somewhat overrated in this league. You saw, you know, the Stamps wanted him fired. He was fired in Edmonton. I thought he rode on Wally's coattails a little bit. And then you
won a Grey Cup with the BC Lions.
Yeah, he did. But again, who's the head coach? And then you've got Chris Jones, who has coached there before, was the defensive coordinator there before. I think he was the reason why Toronto won the Grey Cup this year. There aren't any better defensive minds in this league, in my opinion. But again, do they go defense or do they go offense? And what do you think is going to happen there?
I think Jacques Chapdelaine is a better fit. You got AC. You know, he's at the end of the line, and I think you want a guy that step up as a coach that can kind of bring McPherson along as that next guy. I love Jonesy to death. Had the pleasure of working with Jonesy for years. Got a lot of respect for him. Think he would be a great head coach. But I think that what they're going to need in that transition from AC retiring and to that next quarterback filling in is an offensive mind. And I think that Chapdelaine brings that to the table.
Burke, I want to ask you a question about what makes a good head coach. You say Chris Jones would make a good head coach. In my limited experience, I always feel a good head coach is a good facilitator, as long as he has good wingmen with him. But he creates the environment. So if I've got a good offensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator, and I just set the environment, allow you to do your thing. Do I really have to be that real football guy as long as I have good wingmen, as long as I create the environment? That's most important.
Are you talking about Wally Buono?
Well, Wally Buono's done that in the past.
That could be.
He's always had good coaches. When he was in Calgary. Yeah. He was maybe not the smartest coach, but he was smart to have people maybe smarter than him around.
And I think, you know what, I think, Grant, that's half the battle, is surrounding yourself with good people in anything you do, business, regular life, etc. But the definition for me of a great head coach, and I've played under quite a few over my years, is a guy that there's the top dog, the head coach, and then there's that veteran leadership group underneath him, that middle group, and then you got your foot soldiers at the bottom. And I think that you, as a coach, you want to give the onus to that veteran group to control the foot soldiers, to control the young guys. When you eliminate that group, and there's some coaches out there that have done that have stepped up and said, okay, I'm the boss here, we're going to do it my way. You eliminate that veteran group, and now it's him talking down to the players. And I think that the best head coach gives that power to the veterans to talk down to the players.
Do you think the Stampeders have that right now, or do you think it's just John Huffnagel saying, I'm the boss and here it is?
I think there's a bit of both there,
yeah.
But again, outside looking in, it's always easier to answer questions like that.
You're not outside looking in. You were inside the fishbowl once upon a time.
He's still playing in the league.
So what? Answer the question.
And I got a lot of respect for Huff. I enjoyed playing under him. But again, he's made a lot of significant changes every year that he's been there. Every year there's massive changes with that organization. So this year, not being inside the locker room, I'd really like to maybe refrain from answering that question.
And I don't blame you. So
Jesus Christ.
No, but getting back to my original thought as who should be the next head coach of Montreal. So I think of Chris Jones, smart defensive guy, or Jacques Chapdelaine, a good guy. Who do you think would be the best in doing what you just said, in letting the veterans?
Got a lot of respect for Jacques. I played against Jacques in college when he was head coach with the Laval Rouge-et-Or. But in terms of, I don't know Jacques that well, just from what I've heard from other players in the league. Jonesy is a true player's coach. And I think
he would do what you might think.
I think that Jonesy would be better for the players, but I think Jacques would be better for the organization.
Good point.
You know what? And Jonesy, and getting back to that Grey Cup, everything was, he took what happened in Calgary to a personal level. And he was determined to come out ahead on that and show that he was the smarter man and the better football mind, and that goes a long way after.
Let's face it.
You mean because of the Grey Cup game?
Yeah. Well, all season long.
Any football game is a chess match.
Yeah.
And I think that as much as I have respect for Calgary, I think they got outmatched. They lost the chess match in that game. They didn't make the necessary adjustments at halftime. They were either running it to cornish up the middle or trying to get Romney deep on that outside ball. You know, we've seen that. You know, I think that in order for them to have success in that game, Toronto came out, they were prepared. I got a lot of friends on both teams. They were prepared for that game, Toronto, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And I just think that, yeah.
The Stamps weren't even in that game, I don't think, mentally and emotionally.
Well, that's
because I think after winning the West Final, the travel and here we go, where Toronto just stayed there, and we're just mentally better prepared.
Now let me ask you guys this, and I know you're just going to go, get off that, but I'm going to say this thing. It doesn't look like the Stamps have the right leadership at quarterback. It doesn't look like Tate is a leadership kind of guy. And Kevin Glenn, if he comes out of the gate shaky, he's shaky for the whole game. Would Henry Burris have made a difference in that Grey Cup game for Calgary?
I think he would have, but I'm a little biased. He's a close friend of mine. I had the luxury and the pleasure to play with Henry for years. He is a true leader on and off the field. He provides a leadership quality that I have never seen in another player. So I put him at the very top. I think that Hank might have made a difference in that final game, just for the leadership alone. I think that they went through some adversity early on in the game, and they weren't able to reestablish themselves as the game progressed. So I believe that Hank would have definitely brought some leadership to the table in that respect, and I think that it might have been a different outcome at the end.
But the only thing is, his relationship with the head coach was not healthy.
Oh, no, it was brutal.
So therefore, the environment he would have been played in, or with the relationship he had, wouldn't have worked out anyway. So.
And then one final question. You guys had a bit of a soap opera up there last year. Tillman's gone, and kind of a new regime there. What's that all about? What's that like as you head into a new season with the Eskimos?
We've had a young team. We had some guys step up last year, take on some leadership roles. You know, I think there was a bit of turmoil on the PR side of the organization. Some guys left with lots of experience, but Kavis Reed, I mean, with all the stuff going on, you know, from the general management position, did a tremendous job to me in keeping the team together. I have so much respect for Kavis. It's unreal. I can't speak more highly enough of the man. He was great with my personal development, and you know, and allowing me to take on a leadership role. He was very good there. He keeps the team together. He pumps the guys up. And you know what? When the chips were down and we went 5 losses in a row, he was the first one to say, guys, it's okay. You know, he didn't get ruffled. His feathers weren't ruffled. He brought the team back together. We won that big game against Hamilton to put us in the postseason, and he gave us a shot. And a chip and a chair is all you can ask.
Burke Dales, formerly of the Stampeders, now at the Edmonton Eskimos, and will be joining us from time to time on Outlaw Sports.